What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. Victor Chambers here. Just dropped off a package at FedEx after doing what might have been one of my most interesting signings yet. It was interesting, not difficult per se, but a little challenging, slightly complex, and I'll tell you why. For one, it was let me back up. For one, the docs were shipped directly to the signer, so I didn't have to print anything, which is great. They got shipped directly to the signer. All I had to do was print a label and go. The challenge was that the signing was scheduled for 10 a.m. today, and the FedEx package with the documents was scheduled to be delivered today, and I think they might have arrived at 11:30. So I had to coordinate with the signer and the title company because we had no clue where the package was. So I had to reach out to the title company and get them to tell me to track it for me because I didn't have any idea of where it was. So they tracked it. It was out for delivery early this morning. The ETA for delivery was 12. It arrived at like 11 something. I kept in touch with the signer. I just told him, hey, let me know when it gets to you and I'll make my way there. And so did that, got there. I knew it was going to be a split signing, which, if you haven't seen my previous video about split signings or you've never heard of it before, it's basically where the signing takes place in two locations between two or more people. So in this case, it was a husband and a wife. The wife was in Florida. So she signed in Florida on Friday. And the package was shipped to the husband here in Jersey. And he was scheduled to sign today. So he got the package. I went there. And I've done a few signings, a few split signings before, so I wasn't really worried about that so much. It was more so the fact that in split signings I've done previously, the docs were sent to me, and then I had to take them to the second signer's location. So it's kind of interesting going into a signing with a package basically completely blind. I mean, you don't know what's in the package. You don't know what was done. Obviously, if you've done a refinance before, you know what to expect in terms of the signing. But literally, you take your little label and you go into that signing and you do it as the notary without any heads up of what you might encounter in that package. And so I got there and the package, we got the package and sat down to sign. And these kinds of situations, sometimes, I've done split signings before where a husband is in one place and the wife is in another place because of like work obligations, and one of the spouses being on travel, for work, or parents and their child refinancing a property they own together, and the parents live in one place and the child lives in another place. But then you'll find scenarios where you're doing a split signing because there may be a husband and wife that are on the outs with each other. And, that makes it a much more tense and complicated situation potentially, because, maybe the property is being transferred into just one of their names, and then they're doing a refinance at the same time for a property that they used to own together. All of those kind of complexities and relationship things that, come into these kinds of situations sometimes, and add complexity and intensity, if you will, to the fact that I'm going into a signing pretty much blind. So, and I'm not worried about the fact that I was going into the situation blind. What more so kind of makes it a bit more complex is the relationship dynamics that are at play. When you have someone signing a deed and transferring ownership, you want to make sure people know what they're signing. They understand, because obviously we live in a day and age where people are very litigious. They want to sue for any and everything. And also people are very, people can be very fraudulent, in terms of what they're, and vindictive. So, you just have to be careful. And, that's why I'll ask questions, especially when a deed is involved. I'll ask the signer, do you understand what this is doing? Not giving them legal advice, but just kind of asking them, to kind of check, as a way of kind of checking their mentality and checking them to make sure they're fit to sign. Again, not offering legal advice or not, overly explaining anything, just asking if they know what the nature of this document is and its intent. And if they don't, then we get the title company on the line, which we actually had to do. Actually, we had to do a couple of times, because there were title affidavits that the borrower, because he was listed on the title, he didn't want to sign because the signature line said borrower, and he wasn't actually borrowing. The wife was borrowing, so she was the only one listed on the note, and the note relegates financial responsibility to whoever is listed on the note. So he wasn't listed on the note, so technically he's not financially responsible. He's on title because he has an ownership interest, but he didn't want to sign certain title documents because they said borrower. So it's kind of semantics, but I mean, he was adamant about not signing because it said borrower. And so, we were on the phone with title, and he said, well, I'm gonna just cross that out and I'm gonna write, I am not the borrower, and then I'll sign. So title was just kind of like, if that will make you feel more comfortable to signing, you can do that, and we'll make it work. Pretty much is what how it shook out. But so he did that on every title document that said borrower, and he didn't want to sign. He signed, but he felt more comfortable just crossing it out. And look, I'm not telling you to make that as a practice if you encounter these kinds of situations. I didn't make that call. I didn't make that decision. He literally asked the title company, and they said, okay. So, I'll let them figure it out. But, I'm like, look, if you don't want to sign, or if you don't feel comfortable with this, then technically you don't have to, but let's talk to title and see what they say and see what they want you to do. And so we did that. He talked to title, and he told them what he was going to do, and they were like, okay. So, it is, I guess it is what it is. But, so it's that, as I said, the relationship dynamics, it's the going into a signing, blind, not knowing what's in the package, not really, being able to see ahead of time how the previous notary arranged the package, and kind of how they handled situations where, things had to be notarized when you have two signers, but you're only notarizing one signer. So, the major tip there is to make sure you always have at least, 10 to 20 each of extra all-purpose acknowledgments or individual acknowledgments and jurats that are specific to your state. Because one, those come in handy if you mess up in a notary block on a specific document, but also in scenarios where you have split signings like this, you're going to need to use those. And I fortunately had some, and was able to not have a problem. But you definitely, for split signings especially, have to be stocked up on jurats and loose leaf jurats and loose leaf extra all-purpose acknowledgments or individual acknowledgments, because you'll have to notarize the signature of the person in front of you, and the document might have already been notarized by the other notary with the other with the other person, the first signer. So, you know, obviously follow your state laws and you know, notary guidelines with regard to doing that. But it's just important to be super prepared when you go into split signings, because they're kind of a different beast. But I just kind of wanted to share that specific situation with you. Obviously, you know, I posted a video before about a split signing, but I thought this one was interesting because, you know, like I said, I didn't have any idea what I was going into because I didn't see any of the loan documents or any of the package prior to. So I hope that was helpful, and my little situation kind of helped you learn a little something. But I have 2 more signings today. I have a 6 o'clock and an 8 o'clock, which are actually in the same town. I never get signings that are like back to back like that in the same area. So I took advantage of that tonight, and I'm gonna knock both of those out. But hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone is out there crushing it this week. It's first week of Q2, I'm sorry. So hope you guys are setting goals and accomplishing the things you want to accomplish. So I think that's it for today in terms of this video. So until next time, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I have a new video coming soon with my recap for March, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.